Hi guys. It's been a little bit of time since I last really posted anything or updated anyone, and I am trying something new. I'm basically hosting like a YouTube channel to talk about what's going on in my life, all aspects of my life. But as you guys know, a big portion of that has been my husband and myself, our struggle with infertility over the years. Um, so I guess for those of you who don't really know me or don't know my story, some brief background. I am a 32, almost 33-year-old stay-at-home mom to a little boy, Logan. He's 3.5, my world. And um, my husband and I have always dreamed of having a larger family. We thought that we would have children pretty close together in age, kind of roll them out. I am one of four, and my next youngest sister is only 18 months younger than me. So I grew up with close siblings, and that's kind of what our dream was for our family, which that didn't happen the way we had planned. We, ever since having Logan, we've been trying to have a second child, and we did a lot of infertility treatments. We did IVF last year, 3 transfers, frozen embryo transfers with that, and failed all of them. We are the quintessential picture of unexplained infertility. Everything about us is perfect per the doctors. We don't really have any reason that we should not be conceiving, and especially should not be failing IVF. But here we are. So this journey has been really difficult for our family in a lot of ways, emotionally, financially, time. This infertility can take a lot of time away from you. Um, and but it's a very difficult thing. Anyone who's struggled at all knows that it is extraordinarily stressful. It's all consuming, and it's really tough. It's really tough on your relationships with your friends, your family members, society in general. Yeah, you can easily get very angry at the world. And it's been very challenging from a faith side of things. It's been tough for us. There's been a few times when, we've really questioned our faith and can't help but ask that question, why? Why us? What did we do to deserve this, that sort of thing. The same kind of question that goes through anybody's mind when they're, struggling with anything. So anyways, this journey has had its trials and tribulations for us, but we've been trying to take it as a learning and growing opportunity. So it's been a year since we have really done anything of major value towards trying to add to our family. We were hit pretty hard after our failures last year with IVF and the lack of answers, the lack of any kind of where to go from here. We had a lot of debt. We were just very spent. Emotionally, we were just done with it. So we set it aside. We focused on our family that we do have, Logan, and just rebuilding our relationship and just trying to enjoy life, enjoying what we have right now while we have it, because, you're never guaranteed anything another day. So it's been a really great year, and we healed a lot. And we got to the point where we said, okay, so now what are we doing? Where do we stand on this issue? Do we want to continue towards working towards building a family, expanding our family, or do we want to set that aside for now, forever? Just kind of what are we doing? We felt the urge to make some decisions, I guess. We also this year obtained infertility coverage, IVF coverage specifically, which we did not have the previous year um, when we did the IVF cycle. So that was kind of salt in the wounds, after taking out a loan and spending thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on this process. We then obtained some medical coverage for it. So that kind of also spurred us looking into things a little bit more. What are our options? What can we afford? Do we want to do this? Do we want to go down this road again? Would it be worth it to us? Etc. So we did a thing. We decided to meet with duty calls. Do you want to sit here with me?
I want to stay upstairs.
You want Dad to stay upstairs? Well, where is Daddy now?
No kitchen.
Okay. Just say, Daddy, can you please stay upstairs with me? So at the suggestion of our local fertility doctor, we scheduled a consult with Boston IVF. When we did IVF previously, 2 years ago, we spent the year working with CNY Fertility out of Syracuse. And this time we decided to just kind of get a second opinion, a second set of eyes on our case, see what they would have to offer, if they had any insights or suggestions for treatment that went beyond what CNY had originally suggested for us. And so we did. We scheduled a consult. We went up to Syracuse. We met with the doctor in the Syracuse satellite office for Boston IVF, and just kind of went over everything, our whole history. And, this was sort of a painstaking process. Going back over and really ripping open an old wound that had, for the most part, healed pretty well. I mean, everything leaves a scar, but it's like digging back into that and knowing what you're in for, knowing, just knowing so much more about the whole process and the potential for failure and the emotional roller coaster that is everything to do with infertility and IVF treatments. So just a bit of anxiety over the fact, like, are we really going to do this? Are we really going to, just open this all up again, so Mommy's talking. And I can finish talking if the two of you go play again.
Oh, yeah?
Are you going to play nice?
No.
There was an awful lot of crying going on.
Yeah, we don't know why either.
So, this will be very disconnected thoughts. Mom brain. When you become a mom, you lose your mind and your ability to make cohesive thoughts, and you're also interrupted every other second, so it just makes it even harder. So please bear with me. So we did it. We decided to go ahead, meet with Boston IVF. We went up there, and it was really anticlimactic. Basically, they had really nothing new to offer except that, IVF doesn't have 100% success rates. It doesn't even have 80% success rates. I guess in any given first round of IVF, the success rate is only 47%. So the more we do it, the higher our success rate will be. but there's no point at which you get to 100%. You could do it for 7 years in a row and never have a success. I mean, there is that possibility that you never will. So it's mostly a matter of how much time and money are you willing to commit to this process to try to get pregnant. Which is kind of where we're at. We're just trying to decide, what are the options and what do we want to do? What are we willing to do? We are also considering adoption. The adoption has always been something we've said that we'd be open to. But now we're starting to really dig and try to find solid answers to the questions like, what are the steps to adoption? What do you even do? How does this work? How long does it take? How much money does it take? Are the chances of actually having a child or bringing home a child via adoption far greater than the chances with IVF? So we're just trying to research our options, lay them all out, and look at that and decide, where are we? What is our ultimate plan? How far are we willing to go? How much money are we willing to spend? What are we willing to invest in this emotionally? And what are we willing to put Logan through? Because, this affects him too a lot. And that was one of my greatest sadness factors about IVF the first round. All that time and energy spent, all the visits, and I'm talking, like, for those of you who didn't follow me through my first round of IVF, when you're doing IVF, you're at the doctor's office every other day, and this went on for almost 6 months for me. So it's injections at home and meds upon meds and timing of everything and thinking about it every second of the day, plus traveling back and forth to the doctor's offices, having blood draws, having vaginal ultrasounds, trying to figure out what to do with your child during these, or just bringing them and having them witness all of this, and traveling back and forth to Syracuse, and just, it's a lot. It's not a simple or easy thing to do whatsoever. So I feel like so much of that year of IVF and infertility treatment was taken away time from my son and me with my son, and I became a stay-at-home mother to be with my son and be there for him during these initial growth years. And I felt like I had stepped aside from making him the priority and made the priority trying to achieve another baby, so the priority on someone else who doesn't even exist yet, all for nothing. Of course, I know it's not for nothing, but it felt like it was for nothing. We didn't succeed. We didn't come out with any answers. We didn't come out with a new lead or anything like that. And this time I can't get back with my baby, So that was enlightening, and that's a big thing for me to consider this time around. How much am I willing to do? I'm not a diehard right now. The first time around, we walked into IVF thinking it was our answer. And we were guaranteed to succeed on the first try, and that we were going to make all these embryos, and we would have to figure out what we would do with all of our frozen stored embryos. And it just kind of makes me laugh a little bit, because we ended up with 4, and we used all 4, and all 4 did not make it. So it just really was an eye-opener of, you never know what you're going to get, and it can be ultimately extraordinarily disappointing, and you can walk out having spent all this time and money on absolutely nothing. So obviously a second round, you're walking in with a completely different mindset to this, mostly negative. Not going to lie. Walking into this is like 90% all the ass ache and negatives of doing this process. The financial burden, the emotional burden, the family burden, everything is a burden, and it's all for a very slim chance, or at least we feel that we would suddenly succeed and that something would suddenly work, the stars would align. But long story short, where we are is we've opened up the wound very cautiously, and we're kind of information gathering. We're doing some initial testing, which is fun. Scheduling a bunch of visits. We have to travel to Syracuse again this coming week. Spend an entire day there for some testing. I had testing this morning, cycle day 3, so I am bleeding to death and had to have a vaginal ultrasound done to check my antral follicle count and look at my uterus, and then had initial consult blood work done, which was 13 vials of blood taken and a urinalysis done. All fun things with my toddler in tow. Whatever. Like at this point, I'm like, whatever. So just trying to I guess gather some more information and look at what our treatment plan would look like. But it would just be basically do another egg retrieval and PGS test all of the embryos, and if they were, normal, because we did not PGS test last time, I start transferring and hoping for the best. Do an ERA before we do a transfer, which we did not do last time either. But really not too exciting, not too hopeful. Kind of just really disappointing. We were hopeful that maybe they would have some new approach for us, but then at the same time, after we left, we were like, well, I guess what did we really expect? Magic answers, which there are none. There's that. Along with all the holiday stuff and all the year-end stuff, I'm a bookkeeper. I own my own business bookkeeping, so I have year-end wrap-up for my client and myself on top of holidays, and now IUIs and the potential of either IVF or adoption. Trying to gather information about adoption is absolutely absurd. There is a complete and total lack of support for the beginner steps in, hey, I think I might maybe want to be an adoptive family. Now what? So there's a lot weighing on us. But, trying to look at our options. And so if you have any resources for me about the adoption side of things, please do share. And keep us in your prayers. And if you have any resources for emotional and spiritual support specifically through infertility, through this kind of process, please share those as well, because I'm always seeking to connect with others that have been through this and who can help, hold my hand a little bit. I do a lot of hand holding for others. I'm in a lot of support groups online that help other moms who are going through this, or other mothers to be who are going through this process. And I see, they move on, they succeed, they move on, which is wonderful and is what you want for everyone. But for those of us left behind, veterans of this process, we can feel pretty left out, and there's no one there to hold our hands. So I'm just kind of looking for some support avenues there. So if anybody knows of anything, please do share. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of update you guys. Kind of almost felt like I was keeping this big secret from everyone, which I'm not. I just hadn't really sat down to tackle announcing it or opening up about it. Mostly again because I know opening up about it means you're opening up to a lot of potential for hurt, sadness, failure, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I hope this all goes better than the last time, but I honestly don't have a lot of faith that it will. Just trying to keep my eyes open to see, what this is gonna teach us this time.